What did you break? Is it my phone? ఇప్పుడు నీకు నువ్వు దిగాలి రణంలోకి. Stay tuned. See? Frame is okay?
Script open చేసి పెట్టుకున్నాను. Nice.
కలిపేసా. Hello people and welcome back to my channel Alive to Tell a Tale. My name is Sharmishta and today I am back with another video. For those of you who are new here, my name is Sharmishta and I live in Ireland. I have been living here on and off ever since 2018. Back then I had come here to do my masters in marketing from UCD Smurfit Business School. I started this channel in the middle of the pandemic just so that I could make your study abroad journey easier than mine. Which reminds me of reminding you that if you are someone who has made up their mind to do their studies abroad, it could be in Ireland, it could be in UK or anywhere in the world, and if you have given your English test already and have a decent score, then don't forget to go to the description below and fill the Google form if you need my assistance. Someone from my team will get in touch with you, will be happy to talk to you in detail about your financial and academic background, and will be happy to recommend you what's the best way to go about this and start your study abroad journey. So don't forget, go and fill the form and someone from my team will get in touch with you. Now in today's video, I am going to try and shed some light on a very vast topic, which is the Irish job market. I say vast because it is not as easy as saying that the Irish job market is good or the Irish job market is bad. It's deeper than that because it is very subjective and varies on a gazillion reasons, of which I am going to try and dive deeper into 6 of them. I'm going to try and break it down for you and share as many experiences as possible so that you can get a hang of how things are here, or for that matter anywhere in the world. So without any further ado, let's get started. The first factor is circumstances. With global conflicts, constantly changing visa policies with countries, and AI evolution, all of these 3 factors have a direct impact on the job market across the world. So it definitely has a direct impact on the Irish job market as well. Now, it doesn't mean that everything is come to a standstill or nothing is working out for anybody who lives here. No, it's not like that. Of course, there are 2 ends to the spectrum. On one end, you see companies like Microsoft and Google laying people off left, right, and center. But on the other hand, you'll also find certain people who are landing on great jobs, well paying jobs, who are also working their way up the corporate ladder. And it completely depends on what you bring to the table, which brings me to my second point, which is the course. Now, there are so many students who reach out to me on Instagram and in the comment section asking one standard question, which is, what is the scope for this particular course? The course keeps changing, but the question remains the same. My answer to this would be that there is no sure shot guarantee that if you pick a particular course, you will land on a job. Now, there is an inside joke within Ireland where all the international students say that if you pick masters in business analytics, there is a sure shot that people are landing on jobs. You just come here, do your business analytics course, and then you get a job. It's true to a certain extent, but it doesn't mean that if you're not good at that skill, or you don't have the experience it requires, or you don't have anything that makes you stand out amongst the other candidates, you will not land on a job. What I feel when I read such questions in my DMs is that this student is asking me this question only so that they can hear a positive response from me and can end up doing that course because it has a sure shot guarantee of landing on a job. But that is not the right reason why you would pick a course. What I'd highly recommend is that you pick a course that aligns more with your previous work experience, your previous academic background, and your future goals. It cannot be that just because everyone is saying or because you know someone who has landed on a job because of doing a particular course comes with any such guarantee. Which brings me to my third point, which is work experience. Now, there are a lot of students who reach out to me who directly finish, who are even yet to finish their undergraduation and are ready to pave their way for masters. I have said no to students more than I have recommended them to come and do their masters abroad. Why, you ask? Because after being here for these many years, what I've understood is that there is no place for anyone who is an absolute fresher. The struggle and the journey towards landing on your first job after your masters is going to be very, very, very real. I will talk about this in greater detail in my next video. But for today, what I'd highly recommend is that if you have previous work experience, only then your job landing procedure is going to be slightly easier. What I've also observed is that there is no place for people in between. For example, if you are a fresh graduate, that means you're like in your last semester or you've just graduated, there is higher chances for you to land on a job. And cut to, for someone with over 10 years of experience has higher chances of landing on a job. For everyone in between, it gets really difficult to get themselves a place in this job market. Why, you ask? It's a greater discussion. If you have some amount of work experience, a minimum of 3, which I highly recommend, only then go ahead and do your masters. And even before your course completes, start looking for jobs, start networking, start applying, start getting rejected, only to understand what's working and what's not working. But if you are someone who has just finished your undergraduation, please, it's a no no from my side to go ahead and get another degree without any work experience. Only people who have some work experience, who have worked in the market, who understand how things work within a company, stand some chance. Without work experience, you will not stand a chance. To give you more context as to how much experience matters, let me tell you this. I know someone who got rejected from the last round of an interview for a company, and the feedback that he had received is that the candidate has knowledge but no expertise. So people want to see that you have real time experience of working within an organization and solving a problem. It could be your technical skill or your soft skill, but people really want to understand that you have the experience of solving a problem within an organization. And just doing that is never enough. You have to be able to demonstrate it when you're interviewing with companies. Now, I will talk about this in detail in another video where I will talk you through all the possible reasons that you could get rejected through your interview process. What I would also like to add here, that in my observation, you usually get rejected when you have no experience. If you have experience, then you get rejected saying that you do not have relevant work experience. And if you have relevant work experience, there are times when you can also get rejected because you don't have relevant work experience within the country, which is not having local work experience. There are a lot of factors that could impact your job hunting journey, and work experience is definitely one of them. Of course, there are more layers to it, but on a large scale, no work experience, then it's going to be really tough. Another very important factor is your visa status. Now, when you go to any country, in this case, if you're coming to Ireland, you're on your student visa and then you're on your stamp 1G, which is your post study work permit. People do not want to hire anybody who requires sponsorship. Now, these kind of policies constantly change. Initially, if someone was on a critical skill and their spouse was here, then they could work. But if someone was on a general skill work permit and the spouse was here, they couldn't work. But now things have changed. No matter which skill you're on, and if your spouse is here, the spouse is allowed to work. So rules are constantly changing, and the need to be able to convey to the hiring manager or the HR who's screening you, to tell them explicitly that I do not require a sponsorship until so and so date, is very important. Because some people are aware of all the rules through and through, but some people are not. And the fact that you will need to sponsor a candidate if you hire them is an additional cost that nobody wants to incur. They'd rather pick someone over you who is locally available, who does not require any sponsorship, who has an EU passport. So visa can definitely come in between you and your job opportunities. What I'd recommend you can do is explicitly mention it in your CV or wherever you're applying for your jobs. If there is an option to add additional details, then it's highly recommended that you write in bold letters that you do not require sponsorship if you really don't. To add to that, if your stamp 1G, which is your post study work permit, is coming close to an end and you have still not landed on a job, there are many consultants available online who can help you extend your stamp 1G for yet another year. I don't know how many times you can do it, but you can definitely do it once. The next point would be hiring resistance. Now, let's not forget that we're coming from another country, we're international students, we're expats, immigrants, whatever you want to call it. And we are trying to fight for our place here and competing with locals who do not come with all the additional arrangements that a company would have to make that they would make for us. For example, like we earlier discussed, visa litigations. Like if someone has to sponsor us, it's an additional expense for them and they would avoid it any day. Next, they'd be worried about we being a good fit in terms of culture, if we'll fit into their company culture or not. Another thing that they can be worried about is that if we are experienced candidates, then majorly our work experience is from another culture. So it gets hard for someone to believe that we have done substantial work to be able to survive in this market and to be able to work with them. So they are going to think twice before believing that we will be able to deliver what they're looking for. Let's not forget that we're competing against not just the locals but also immigrants who come from other nationalities. So it's going to be a pool of tough competition, and we must not take it lightly and must be prepared that these are the additional burdens that we carry on us. So after masters, life is going to start getting hard until you actually land on a well paying full time job. Say, for example, you're interviewing with a company. You're not just the only person who's going to be interviewed, right? You're going to be interviewing with other candidates as well. So, if somebody is even 1% better than you, if somebody even comes with one challenge less than what you could bring to their company, they're obviously going to choose them over you. And in most cases, it's locals. Having said that, it's not like just because you're an expat or an immigrant you will not get hired. On the other end, I see so many people who come from other nationalities, other countries, Indians, Pakistanis, or any other country across the world. They are getting hired. So it's not just you possessing the capabilities, but it's also about how you showcase yourself when you're being interviewed. If you are being asked certain questions, how you answer them, how you're able to present yourself, how you're able to demonstrate the work that you've done before. If they are giving you assessments, how are you performing in those assessments? There are so many factors that can put you that could increase your chances of getting hired over anybody who's from a different nationality or anybody who is locally available as a resource. The last but not the least and the most important, your job search strategy. Now, this is again a really vast subject, but I will refrain from elaborating it within this video. We'll talk about it in detail in another video. But what I can say definitely is that if your job search strategy is not optimized based on your background, your experience, and your networking skills, then you will never land on a job. Like, take it from me, if you do not know which jobs to apply for, if you do not know how to tweak your CV the right way, if you do not know how to answer the employment questions while filling the job application, if your cover letter is not great, if you're just simply sitting and copy pasting your cover letters across all formats of jobs that you're applying across industries, then you will not land on a job. Job search strategy is a thing, and it takes a person to be applying, getting rejected, giving those screening calls, giving those first and second rounds of interviews, and being rejected time and again before landing on an actual job to crack what's working for you and your profile. After your course, brace for impact, be ready for 1,000 rejections. You have to develop a thick skin, you have to be positive, you have to be able to learn from all your rejections, or this journey will be very, very hard. There are people who you can look up to on the positive side of things. There are always going to be positive examples, but I'm sure they might have also had their fair share of struggles, and they might have learned a lot from their journey before they actually landed on a job and become stable in another country. I'd love to talk about this topic in detail in another video, but for today, if you are watching this video and you are someone in the middle of your job hunting journey, the only key is to learn to present yourself better. There is no other way to do this. There is no shortcut. I hope you stay positive and patient, and wishing you all the best. That is all for today, guys. I hope this video was helpful. I hope that this video was insightful enough to help you navigate your study abroad journey. If there's anything in specific that you think I missed, or if you have any questions, feel free to drop a comment in the comment section below. You can also reach out to me on Instagram. Sharmishta09 is my handle. If any of you who is watching this video are experienced, have been through all of these hurdles, have managed to land on a job and feel slightly settled, then it would be great if you can drop your experiences in the comment section below so that our viewers can read and pick a thing or two from it. If there's anything in specific you would also like me to talk about in my next video, because the next couple of them are going to be around jobs and Irish job markets, so feel free to drop those suggestions in the comments and I'd be happy to make them for you. Don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe. Until next time, see you. Bye-bye.